And we are having massive technical difficulties this morning because of the rain. So I dispatched with the opening of this. Actually, let me see if I can call it up real quick because I would like to give you the proper open to the show. Sometimes this stuff happens, and you know me. I mean, we just kind of bear with it, go with it, and hope that it all just keeps on moving and grooving. I mean, that's all you can really do, right? Is you just got to you just kind of gotta um, hang with it. I mean, there's nothing else you can really do except just work your way through the problems that happen in life. I wish regular life was as easy as that, but it isn't. So we just try to work our way through it as best we can. All right, I believe we got the open up and ready to go, and we appreciate it. Appreciate you hanging with us a couple of seconds for this. Okay.
Drive Time Radio with New York Vinnie.
On this week's edition of Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week? What if I could show?
Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week?
Have a little fun. It is a fun day here out at
You're listening to Drive Time Radio.
Remember, just plug in. I'm ready.
There we go, from gas. And here we are just after 11 o'clock on a Saturday, and we do our best to have a lot of fun doing it. Good morning. Thank you. A little delayed this morning, I know, but we are with you. New York Vinnie here. That's me. Drive Time is the name of the show. Let's connect up here. Get the microphone going, too. That's the kind of morning it's been. I don't know what's going on, but every once in a while, we just have these crazy screwy kind of technical problems, and I don't always know where they come from. I don't know where the goblins come from. I can't say, but I try to correct them as we go along, and we will do that this morning. And hopefully we will get you the kind of show that you'll be able to say to your friends, I watched that show on Saturday morning. That Vinnie, man, he cracked me up. He made me laugh. Yes, hopefully that is what will happen. Anyway, we got I got to tell you part of what's going on this morning. It's, the day before Super Bowl stuff. And unless you've been on the rock, you know that the Seahawks and the Patriots tomorrow are going to go at it in the Super Bowl. And there was a possibility this morning. Somebody gave me a call and said, listen, if you can get down to Santa Clara, down to the San Francisco Bay Area, I can get you into the Super Bowl. We can get you into the game. Got a ticket for you. Got a pass. Get you in. And I said, well, that's kind of cool. He says, but you got to let me know right away. So right away, I'm on the phone. Boom. Can I do this? Can I cancel this plan? Can I do that? Anyway, it wound up that it didn't work out. That it couldn't. It was kind of a first come, first served thing. And somebody got in front of me, and I was still hesitating on whether I could go or whether I couldn't. And I'm also, I'm not that crazy about being there in person. I wanted to be there because I wanted to see some of my friends that were going to be there. But I'm going to watch the game with a lot of my friends as well. So it didn't get 10 but I was going to drive down. I was going to just get in the car right after the show. As a matter of fact, I was even toying with the idea of just not doing the show and just saying, hey, you got to understand, Super Bowl came up. I got to go. Bang, in the car, and let's go. But it didn't work out, so I'm here doing the show. So all of the film and stuff, the video that I have to get loaded in to do the show, I didn't get a chance to load in. So I'm going to do that as we go along this morning. I also didn't get a chance. I am one of the few people that still do a show um, with a manual show sheet. I don't put it on computer. I don't put it on a screen. I take my show sheet and I write it out. The segments, some of the script, if there's any script involved, the pertinent facts that I got to know. Otherwise, it's all ad lib. But I try to get that done before the show. And I wrote a lot of it out last night and I couldn't find it. I don't know if I left it in the bathroom. I don't know where it is. So I'm also going to be winging it this morning on a lot of the things, and on that sheet is where I have to look to see where everything is, like this story is there and I got to go to this story there and everything. I know there's an easier way to do it, but I just haven't found an easier way that I feel comfortable with doing it. I want to do the best possible show for you. So I try to do that. So that's my gig. We are going to today, we've got a couple of things going on. We are going to tell you the story of the bus that's headed toward the Super Bowl, careening down I-5 as we speak. We're going to take a look at what I think is the absolute coolest thing I have ever seen in a car. Now, I do a segment called Cool Stuff in Cars. Well, I found something that I have never seen in a car before. And I got into this week's Drivetime road test car, the 2025 Mustang Mach-E GT. And it's a car that I love already. I really do look at this car as, if you're going to buy an electric car, it's not going to be a pickup truck, and it's not going to be a full big SUV, that this is the car that you might want to be looking at. It's just between this and the Ioniq 5. They're great cars. They are good value for the dollar. They are solidly built. They have a decent amount of range to them. They are easy to recharge. There's just not a lot of those problems that you come up with a lot of electric cars. Ford should be very proud of what they've done with this car. Because again, and it's sporty. It handles well. It handles much better than your average electric car. It has Ford built a feel of the road into this car that a lot of other cars lack. They just don't get that. So bravo to the Ford engineers. But they also put something in this 2025 that I either hadn't seen before and completely missed, or they just kept it quiet because I didn't hear about it. I didn't know about it. And when I got in the car and I saw the icon on the screen for, inside the Mustang Mach-E, there's an iPad-sized screen right in the center of the dashboard, and everything that you have to do on the car is on that screen. When I saw this on the screen, first of all, the name of it caught my eye. And when I saw it, I said, well, why in the world would Ford put something named Stingray into one of their cars? It doesn't make sense, the branding and everything. But stranger things have happened in cars, I know. So, but I looked at it then and I saw the word under Stingray, and I go, no, you got to be kidding me. So we'll get into that a little later in the show, and I'll even give you a demonstration of this unbelievable item that is on the screen and of this Mustang Mach-E. It surprised me. It surprised my beautiful daughter. It surprised anybody that has gotten in the car so far. And there's a lot of cool stuff in this car. But this is among the coolest of anything I've ever seen, and you can name, $450,000 Rolls Royces and Bentleys all the way down to $18,000 Mitsubishis. I haven't seen this. Now, I've seen, and I know that people use variants of this, and I've even mentioned on this show before how I would love to see this or something like this in cars, because it marries, it embodies two things that we do in cars so much. It is combined with another accessory in this car, the absolute ultimate road trip accessory. It's why I was so excited about driving down to the Super Bowl, because I would have loved to drive this car, 12 or 14 hours in a row and gotten the experience of what this would feel like on the road, in traffic, using it with it, maybe hopefully with another person in the car, but even if it was just by myself, and getting the feeling of it. And, with the way things are going in life for us right now is in the United States of America, anything that can bring you joy, anything that can bring you that unbridled feeling of happiness is worth a look at, is worth some time out of your day, out of your minute, out of your hour to take a look at. It may not be for you. It may not be something that you would use or would enjoy or anything. But I got a feeling that this has got to be something that is going to bring many people a lot of unbridled joy, a lot of happiness. What I worry about, and it's always been my worry about this, even when I was mentioning it as something that cars ought to have, was the fact that for many people, I do feel that it could take their attention off the road. And we already have a lot of that going on. But maybe this accessory in the car is constructed in a way that requires the least amount of attention from somebody in the car. Maybe it should be angled so the passenger can use it and not the driver. That the driver would have to use it strictly for memory instead of having to look at the screen. But on a long trip, and maybe some of you even use this in a way already in your cars. Maybe not when you're driving, but if you have some young, adults in your family, maybe they use it in the car, in the back seat, because it certainly is something that will occupy your time, and it certainly is something that will bring you joy. And if something brings you joy, I'm happy for it. I'm happy that Ford has decided to come up with a way to put this app on their collection of apps, and feels that it doesn't take enough attention away from driving, that it can safely operate in a car, that you can safely use this app in a car without the driver having their attention taken away from driving. So we'll jump into that in a few minutes. First, I do want to remind you that this show is brought to you by my good friend George Jackson from GJ Promo, George Jackson Promotions. George specializes in business promotional items. So if you need, and when I say business, I use that term loosely because it can be a business, a nonprofit organization, just a party you're having, family reunion, any place where you need gifts to give to people for whatever reason. Whether they be ice scrapers, whether they be, folders, whether they be jackets, T-shirts, any kind of those business promotional items that you may need for your business, for your nonprofit group, for your event, for your party, George Jackson is the guy to call. Two big reasons. Number one, he supports this show. He supported the show since we have been on the air in this iteration, which has been 6, 7, 8 years now. He's kicked in a little bit at times, a lot more at times, to keep the show running, to pay for the things that we have to pay for to keep this show on the air. So if you listen to this show, if you watch this show on the internet, if you listen to this show on the internet, you have George to thank for that. And so that's one thing. Number two, when you do business with George, when you need something and you talk to George, even if you don't buy it from him, if you just call him and say, or get in contact with him and say, George, I need this. Can you make a bid on it? Can you tell me how much it's going to be? Can you tell me how long it's going to take for me to get it? One thing, a couple of things I found out about George is that he's honest, he's straight up, he's going to give you a good price, and he's going to give you something that is totally missing today in our society, and that is service. When you call George and you order something, he's going to tell you when it's going to be there. He's not going to tell you, well, it'll be here Friday, even though he knows it's not coming until 3 weeks from now. And when he gets it or when you get it, he's going to make sure that it's the right thing. It's what you ordered. It's at the price you ordered. You have personal contact. You get George's phone number. It's not like you get on a computer and you're doing business with a chatbot or AI, which, is something that's happening more and more these days. You see people, they get on, they use these chatbots and the AI websites and stuff, and they never touch anything. They're off playing in some foreign land in Antigua or something like that, while, their chatbot is screwing up your orders, misspelling the name on your T-shirt wrong, is embarrassing you. And who is there to call? Nobody. There's a bot. Well, George Jackson ain't no bot, ladies and gentlemen. George Jackson is George. And you call George up and you say, George, this is wrong. And George gets on the stick. And he gets it fixed, and he gets it done. That's service, and that's what George Jackson offers you in a friendly manner. So, again, GJ Promo, find him on Facebook and Instagram and all of the usual social media channels. You can go to his websites, gjpromo.com or gjpromotions.com, I forget. But Google George Jackson Promotions, and George's name will pop up. And he will be more than happy to help you out. And tell him I sent you. And he'll make sure you get the best deal. I mean, I think he's going to make sure you get the best deal anyway. But just tell him that you heard about it on this show. I mean, I'm sure he'll know, but tell him that you heard about it on this show. And George will make sure that what I promise you, what I say to you, will come true. Let me say good morning to a couple of people that are watching us this morning. First of all, my friend Joey is watching all the way from, I believe it's Georgia, where he's been snowed in a few days. So he is a good friend of mine that I knew when I was growing up. I know Joey for years, solid guy, a man that knows everything about a motorcycle and then some, and just a good dude. This guy's a good dude. His father was a good dude before him. His sister was a good person, and the whole family was good. And I grew up with the family. His father was like a surrogate father of mine. If Mr. Fontaine saw you doing something wrong, he would come over and say, hey, straighten out. Enough said. Let's see, a couple other people listening this morning. Melina is, I don't know, it's just a W. And then, so I don't know if she's just letting me know that she's listening. And Rap Life wants to know what we're talking about. We're talking about cars. Cars, how they affect us, human life, and the general condition. It's such a big part of our life. So every week we meet here for an hour and talk cars. All right, first thing, item up on our agenda this morning is I want to let you know about a law that is happening and has happened in China. Pay more attention to the Chinese automobile market because you're going to be hearing a lot more about it. But China has this week instituted a law that says concealed door handles, those flush door handles on cars, are to be no more. They are illegal. The problem is, although they look cool, and they really give you. I mean, this car that I'm driving this week, the Ford Mustang Mach-E, and the car before that I was driving, the Lucid, both have concealed door handles that open when you walk to the car. Transmitter on the key fob lets the car know that you're approaching, and it opens up the door handles so that you can grab them and open up. Problem is that first responders and police and so on and so forth, fire departments, are finding out that these handles are dangerous, that they are sometimes impossible to get a car door open. Even though they have a safety latch here or a safety latch there, every fire department, every first responder doesn't know where that handle is, or they don't have time to look, or for whatever reason, there seems to be no quick, safe way to open up and extract somebody from a car that has those kinds of door handles in an emergency situation. And there's been enough deaths in this manner in China for them to do something about it. So that slick styling you're going to see on the side of your Tesla or your Rivian or your different vehicles will probably at some point in the not too distant future go away from the door of your vehicle. And again, it's not, it's just a matter of safety. With so many cars, now, if there was only a couple of manufacturers, they could, send out bulletins to fire department, as car companies do, and say our new car is designed with this type of handle, and this is how you open it. I know General Motors has a group of engineers and mechanics that travel to different fire departments and also have at their technical schools a place where fire departments can send their personnel to learn how to work these systems in an emergency. GM, I know, has been very good about that. And I believe that Ford and Stellantis and Mercedes and Toyota and some of the other companies have done that as well. I don't know if they go to the degree that General Motors does, and I'm only familiar with this about General Motors because I read a big article about it and talked to a couple of firemen who had been through the course and said it helped them and their fellow firefighters immensely in learning how to extricate people from cars. With the sound deadening glass, it's even hard to break the glass on some of these vehicles. They have glass down with 3 layers and plastic, and it's markedly more difficult today to break a window and pull somebody out of the window than it was even 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, because they're trying to make the quietest possible cabin in the car. But there's a price you pay for that. You pay the price of safety. So there's a lot of people in the automotive industry that feel, a lot of observers in the automotive industry that feel like that law is something that Congress is going to take up at some point when they collectively get their heads out of their asses and they decide that they should get back to the business of making laws for this country instead of fighting with each other. But it's something that you'll see. A little V8 juice this morning. So that's one of the big things that I've seen, on the news front. Kind of, it was a slow news week around cars. Or maybe I was just so absorbed in Super Bowl stuff that I was making my way looking at, just stuff that had to do with the Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, along those lines, if you go down to a Seahawk game, before the Seahawk game, you travel through the streets around the stadium, you're bound to see some of the incredible vehicles, the cars that fans build with Seahawk logos on them, with Seahawk apparatus, with 12 apparatus on it, with things that identify the owners as Seahawk fans. And one of the very cool things that has been spotted, on highways heading down to the Bay Area, because it's a 12-hour drive down to the Bay Area. I mean, I've done it hundreds of times. A lot of people I know have done it. But one of the things that people are doing is traveling down by car. If you have a family and you're heading down to the Super Bowl, you throw 4 or 5 people in a car, it's cheaper than an airplane. So that 800-mile road trip becomes a fun trip. And there's a number of big vehicles that are making that trip down there. One of them is, and I love this because I'm an El Camino guy. I love El Caminos. One of them that King 5 featured in a story is a Chevy El Camino from a 1979 Chevy El Camino, which is the newer model of the El Camino. That he has a guy named Tom Triggs found it in a junkyard in Yakima, and he did the car up, built it himself. He has authentic King Dome turf in it, a field goal, got a miniature football field in the bed of the El Camino. It's part of this convoy along with the Hawk bus that's heading down there. Another guy, Justin Smith, they're on their way down. He's got a double-decker bus from London. that he's got. That him and a number of fans have got into, and they're driving down to the Super Bowl. They're probably there. Now, it was interesting that Justin Smith, the guy who has the bus, expects a hostile reaction from Bay Area fans. I spent some time in the Bay Area, and I think people will. I think people love that bus. I think people will love the fact that people are convoying it down there. It's not something that they see all the time. I think people will appreciate. I'm hoping they do. I'm hoping that people see the bus and see the El Camino and see the other cars. There's I forget her name, owns that fire engine that you see all around. The tailgate parties south of the stadium. There's a number of people who have cars that are painted up in 12 livery, Seahawks livery, and they're heading down to the game. And I love them. I wish I was in that convoy. I wish I would have known about this a couple of weeks earlier, and I would have gotten a seat on that bus, and today's show would be coming to you live from that bus. That's my bad. But I don't think they're going to get a bad reception. I will be surprised if they don't get cheered when they come down there, because I think people, football fans, now I don't think Bay Area fans are going to root for the Seahawks, but I think that fans will appreciate other fans, hot rodders, people that build cars, people that paint cars will appreciate what these people have done and the way they've customized their car to be a part of the Seahawks celebration. And maybe I'm Little Miss Sunshine of optimism when it comes to this, but I just think that we shouldn't sell people short. People now, if you go into I don't know, maybe Carolinas or maybe Florida or someplace like that, maybe I could see it. But I just think people in Northern California are a little bit more appreciative of the effort. There's certainly a big arts community there, and if you've done a nice and a good, solid hot rod community and custom car community there, and I hope that the people that will be driving their cars down there will, in fact, find a place where they can park them all in one place and people can come and see them. How would that be? A 12-car show, a 12 cars and coffee tomorrow morning. A place where the people who had those cars could assemble and people could go by and look at them and appreciate the work that these people have put into their cars. That's what I would love to see. And I hope in some way, somehow, they'd be able to do that, to organize that. I mean, most of these people, I think, are going to know each other. If they're traveling down in a caravan, they certainly are, probably either sleeping in their cars or, they're all going to be together or have been together on the road. I'm sure it's probably going to happen, but if it's not, you should be doing it. A one-time cars and coffee where Seahawks fans could go and appreciate these people's efforts in what they have created. Much as we appreciate the people who dress themselves up in different attire to go to a game. Because for a lot of people, your car is an extension of you, and you are an extension of your car, and you customize your car to be a part of you. So I hope that happens. If anybody that's listening to the show knows about that, or if anybody who is a part of that is listening to the show or gets word about this, please shoot me a line or a comment or an email at Vinnie at drivetime-radio.com, VINNIE at drivetime-radio.com. I'll be happy to see it and repost it on my social media pages. So, because I think it's, I just think it's a cool thing. And being as I'm a car guy, I think it's especially cool. You got to do this stuff every once in a while, right? Right. All right. What else do we have this morning? Oh, yeah, I want to make sure that I got this loaded in. I think I have it loaded in, but I just I want to make sure because, I've been just a technical mess this morning. So please forgive me for the technical mess, but hey. By the way, it looks like I am going to be headed to the New York International Auto Show. So we will be from there, come to you in early April. I got proof of credentials to that show. I don't think there was any reason why I shouldn't, but I'm excited. That's April. Let's see, that's March 31st is the media day, I believe. And so we will be at Media Day, and we will be letting you know what's going on. I'm hoping to be able to include a trip to Mets opening day with that as well. And get back to going to opening days like I did for so many years. So we'll see how that works out. And it should be auto shows aren't what they used to be. I think we all know that. But there's still a lot of excitement, especially around the major ones like New York, Chicago, LA, Detroit. Enough going on around those auto shows that you see some new models, you see some different things. And so you want to go, you want to talk to people, you want to find out what they have going on. So I think it's important. I think it's important to do that. All right, what else do we have for you here before you get to the to Yo Vinnie? What are you driving this week? And oh yes, I had to give up the Lumen this week. What a car that was! I mean, what just a solid, pleasurable, enjoyable car that was to drive. As I said before, and we'll say again, I don't know why with a Lumen available that anybody would drive a Tesla. Would you rather be one of a million cars that look like it on the road, or one of something different, something refreshing, some fresh air? And, in news items that I saw this week, and I check back on these things so that there's, confirmation. But it appears that you're not going to get a major upgrade on a Tesla for a number of years to come. Now, some people might say that that's good because they will all look, you won't be able to tell them apart much from, 2 or 3 year old cars, 4-year-old, 5-year-old cars. And being as the electric cars seem to have less wear and tear on them, a car that could be 5 years old could look, if it's well maintained, like a car that's a year old. And that's an advantage for that Tesla, for that owner. But I think the American psyche wants something new, wants something that is at least a little different than what you've seen before. Now, again, Tesla has upgraded some of their models, but basically the Tesla that you bought in, 2014 is the same looking Tesla that you buy today. The headlight perches are a little bit different. Obviously, the software is different, and the capabilities of the car can be different if you didn't pay them the ransom for the software that they want to load into your car or to subscribe to certain things. But if you're a person of car as utility, if you're a Udi, and by a Udi, I mean a person who just buys a car as a means of transportation, and that's it. That's all. The person that listens to this show, and I think the segment of society that I kind of am attracted to and that I feel kinship with, are the people that believe that their cars are more than an appliance. That, as I said before, their cars are extensions of their personality. That they do some things to their car to make it more than just four wheels that get them someplace. They make it a car that is enjoyable to take on a long trip. They make it a car that stands out when you park it somewhere, that doesn't look like everything else in a parking lot, that gives you the ability to put some of your personality into a car. And if you want to see the end result of that, go up to Dick's Drive-In's a parking lot any Friday or Saturday night, and you'll see what I mean. Now, sometimes, listen, people go overboard. They put loud mufflers in cars and so on and so forth. But you also see a lot of cars that have these really nice subtle touches that owners put on them. A set of nice wheels, a set of tires that make the car adhere to the road better, a suspension that helps the car go through curves and hug the road better. Lights over the past 10 or 15 years have become a part of this customization. Customization, years ago with lights was maybe you got a pair of yellow headlights. Remember those? You put a pair of yellow or fog lights. You put fog lights on your car. Or you'd put before they were made mandatory on every car, you put a middle tail, something. Now, you get in cars and you can change the lights to different colors. You can put a light show on in your car. You can have them respond to the music. You can put lights outside your car that blink and flash and do different things, as long as it doesn't look like a police car. Nobody will bother you. And it looks pretty cool. I've seen cars that have lights that are in the wheel wells that people light up. They spend thousands and thousands of dollars on these suspension components. And finally, somebody said, well, if I'm going to spend this kind of money on these things, maybe I should put a light in the wheel well to show off what I got. And that's exactly what they've done. And I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool. So, the customization of cars has gone back to levels that we've seen in the 50s and the 60s. Of course, there's more stuff available. It's easier to obtain than it used to be. When I was a kid, we had speed shops. I'm sure they had them here. Matter of fact, I know they had them here because I used to go up to one. I forget where he was, 125th, and off Aurora. And, you could buy different accessories for your car, different parts that made the engine go faster. You could get advice. You could hang out with people that knew about cars. There was I forget the name of the guy now, but he used to rebuild engines and make them go faster. So if you wanted that component to your car, this guy could set it up like that, or sell you parts so that you could do it yourself. And I used to enjoy, going to that place and hanging out and talking to people about cars. Now, Cars and Coffee kind of takes that place, or you can exchange information. And the internet has been a great help. And, now you can go on Amazon or eBay and order parts for your car. Half the videos I see on YouTube are about the top 25 things, gadgets for your car. Now, I don't think many of them make it go faster, but it makes you feel cooler when you install one of them. The light sets that are available for cars are unbelievable. And they run, on regular battery power. I mean, you could plug in, you could get a converter or an inverter, I should say, that you can plug anything into your car. You can put a grill in the back of your car. Geez. So that customization of cars is alive and well. I'm very happy to see it. I love just going down to Dick's or going to Cars and Coffee and just walking around and looking at the different cars, different things that people do to their cars, whether they keep them stock or they go all out and they cut the roofs and lower them or put fit, whatever they do. It's awesome to see. And I think it's a great thing for creativity for our kids. I'd rather see kids and young people, young men, young women, getting into their cars than getting into trouble. I'd rather see them in a parking lot talking about their cars. And I know they have loud mufflers on the cars, and it wakes you up at night. And it's just look at Nextdoor any Saturday morning, the social media platform for discontented people, and you'll just see hundreds of people complaining about the noise from those damn kids. And it's just I'm one of those people that say, well, can't you see that when you rather have these kids doing this than getting into trouble, than having gangs and just all this kind of stuff? When you rather have a social club of kids with jackets that belong to a car club than kids that go out there and harass people and hurt people, or worse yet, people that kids that belong to organizations that want to do things to hurt people. I'd rather see kids and young people and all people get into their cars. It's just me. That's just a thing that I just think it's a good thing. And again, it's something that people need to pay attention to, I think, a little bit more in the car community. Encourage these kids. If you see a car show or Cars and Coffee, stop. Show your kids these people and their cars that have put so much effort into them, to show them. I mean, they're really special pieces of machinery that people come along and put their time in and their hearts into and their souls. And it would be nice if you could appreciate them and just, get a chance to to show off. get a chance to appreciate what they've done. You know, I always think I always think that it's a great thing when people do that kind of stuff. It's art, and it should be appreciated as art. We'll have a full review for you next week on the Lumen. We'll get that done for you next week. Figured it'd be time now for to show off what I'm driving this week. You know, the Yo Vinnie, what are you driving this week? And let me just get this all plugged in here real quick, and we will get it up here to the right place, and we'll be able to present this to you. By the way, I did want to remind you that we are brought to you by George Jackson. Business items, business promotional items, one of the finest business promotional items, people, distributors that you could use, you could find. GJ Promo on the internet is how you find them. And I guarantee you that if you do business with George, I stand behind. I know George and like George so much that I stand behind what George does. I mean, you know, it's just a solid guy. All right, let's jump into the what I'm driving this week. All right. Let's see. Let's go there and do this. Sorry that it's like I say that I've been a little. I just didn't get everything loaded in before the show, but I think that you'll enjoy the rest of it because I think I got everything loaded in. Okay, I had to edit this pretty quick when we ended it. When I re-edited it this morning, but take a look at this. This is the Ford Mustang Mach-E, and I just think that this is one of the most solid of all of the electrics. This has been around a while, so they've had a chance to work the bugs out of it. As you can see from the outside, a very attractive car. A car that is pleasing to the eye, is pleasing. That's me there with the camera. I'm not so pleasing to the eye, but it just has nice lines. It retains, listen, is it a traditional Mustang as we all think? No. It is a different kind of Mustang, but much like the Porsche that have done this, much like the other cars that have done this, the other sports car, it retains a sporty feel to it. It retains a feel of a car that is not just a car designed to get you from one place to the other, but a car that's designed to have a sportier driving feel to it, a sportier look to it, a comfortable but yet attentive driving position, and a car that will give you the feeling of not just driving something else. All electric, as I said, great technology. For 2026, there's a new California special trim. They've changed the heat pump in this thing. This particular car, which is the GT, will go to 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. 480 horsepower. It has the performance upgrade, all-wheel drive, 700 pound-feet of torque. When you put this thing into go, it goes. Now, the GT has a 280-mile range. I haven't put it through its range stuff yet. But one of the great things about this car is that if you go to a DC fast charger, you're looking at the front there, it'll go from 10% to 80% in about a half hour. So that's pretty good. It is spacious, obviously fits 5 adults tight, 4 adults comfortably, has lots of room for stuff that you would want to throw in there. As you can see, this picture of the back with the front seats down, the rear seats down, I should say, excuse me. But there's plenty of room, outlets, and ports to put your equipment into charge. The sync system works seamlessly. The 15.5-inch touchscreen has a number of different apps that make driving easier. Your drive modes, whisper, engage, and unbridle. And unbridle is like just neck snapping. It really is. And something I really, really, really like about this car is the Blue Cruise. The Blue Cruise is their driver assist system that basically lets you take your hands off the wheel on certain roads. You have to be on the interstate, basically. But if you're taking a long trip, if you are cruising along and you say, okay, I want to relax. I'm going, I'm going to be going, I used it from downtown Seattle up to Everett, and it was flawless. I set it and forget it. And I'm sitting there with my hands off the wheel, letting the car do the driving. It switched lanes a couple of times when I got too close to the car in front of me, or what it deemed to be too close. It was smooth. It let me know what moves it was making. And when it was time to get off the freeway, I moved over to the exit. It disengaged, and I retook control of the car. And believe me, the strides that they've made in these systems over the last 5 or 6 years is unbelievable. I mean, I remember driving these things when it was new, and you weren't quite sure. After using this Blue Cruise a couple of times, I had no qualms about taking my hands off the wheel. I mean, I kept them in a position where I could grab the wheel if something went wrong, if somebody cut in front of me so close or came to, whatever things might happen. But still, it was, a little bit of the future. And maybe part of that is that, you start to see these Waymos and these other cars that are, cruising around town with no drivers. And you're starting to say to yourself, well, maybe there is something to this autonomous driving. Maybe there is something to a safety factor. Because I have to tell you, in driving this car, I crawled up on somebody too close that I was, felt a step on the brake. It recognized and extricated me from potential trouble 4 times I would have. So whoever programmed this thing, this Blue Cruise, this autonomous driving, did a great job. And I can see this as something that will save people's lives in the future. If you get in this car and you're tired, you shouldn't be driving. But we all know that people do. But at least with this type of system, if you have the system engaged, it is going to make you feel like there's an extra layer of safety. That if you have this thing engaged, even if your hands are on the wheel and you are, kind of a little bit tired, again, like I say, I would always pull off the road. But if you're not gonna, if you're one of those people that are thick-headed, at least this thing is going to give other people a bit of a chance. That it'll shake you It'll move the car in the direction that you want to go, and it will alleviate, or at least in part, that the possibility of you hitting other cars, running off the road, going into a wrong lane, and hurting somebody else besides yourself. And I think that's something that needs to be acknowledged in these things, that human nature. We all know people who you say, you're too tired to drive. Well, no, I'm okay. Well, all right, at least if you got the Blue Cruise on, you have the car and its systems assisting you. And that could potentially save your life. I have a friend that has a car that has, the Super Cruise, I think it is. And he uses it when he drives he makes several long trips on I-5 all the time, and he just uses it automatically because it takes that one piece of not seeing another car if you're changing a lane, not doing this, not doing that. It takes the not doing, or I didn't see it, out of the equation in 99.9% of the incidences that can happen. And if you can be that safe, why not? Right? So anyway, great car, lots of great stuff in it. I think this is, again, I think this is, I think if certain political groups had sullied the reputation of electric cars, that this car would be a huge winner, that people would be talking about this car a lot more and buying a lot more of these cars. But them doing that is a better advantage for you, because that means that you can go to your dealer, your Ford dealer, and get some pretty good deals on these cars. Even with losing the tax credit, the state still has a tax credit, and there are still certain credits to be had in certain places on the buying of these cars. Okay? Now, that is the car. Okay? That's what I'm driving this week. It's a 2025, not a 26, Ford Mustang Mach-E. Now, one of the other reasons that I am enamored of this car, why I love this car so much, is something that, I've talked about this from time to time. I've said from time to time, geez, I wish that there was some system where, I love to sing in the car. I am a guy that loves to sing in the car. But I'm also a guy that tends to forget the words to songs at times, or at least not always have the right words to songs. Okay? And it's kind of a drag because, you want to know, well, sometimes you don't. Well, Ford has come up with a solution for my problems, and what I think may be the single best car accessory for long road trips I have ever seen. Okay? This one gets the award, folks, for the best. First time I've seen it. It may have been in the Mustang before, and I just didn't see it. Maybe it was just made available. But this car has, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and with a tribute to James Corden here, in-car karaoke. Right. Not car karaoke where you can watch James Corden driving down the road with Cher singing Take Me Home or something like that, but actual in-car karaoke. Get a gander at this. This is inside the Mustang. And I'll just let you listen to it. Got in the car, started it up, as you would. See the screen coming alive. And then all of a sudden, the app screen on this big 15.5-inch screen that is included with the Mustang, and you press Stingray karaoke, and all of a sudden, all of these songs come up on the screen. And so this is the trending screen, and I pushed the number one trending song on Stingray karaoke, which is I don't know, "To Me Fugazi" by Bad Bunny. So take a look.
Ey, Titi me preguntó si tenía muchas novias. Muchas novias, hoy tengo una, mañana otra, ey. Pero no hay boda. Titi me preguntó si tengo muchas novias, ey. Muchas novias, hoy tengo una, mañana otra. Me la voy a llevar pa' mi VIP, ey. Saluden a Titi, vamos a tirar un selfie. 6 G's, ey. Que sonría la que yo le metí en un VIP, ey.
Yes, kids, in-car karaoke. I haven't taken it out and driven with it yet, so I'm not 100% sure if it works while you're driving or how that works. But this is, without a doubt, the coolest thing. Nobody will ever complain about waiting for their friends outside the store or at the doctor's office or wherever you got to drive somebody to. Okay? That's just not happening anymore. You know, you have an opportunity now to be occupied. You are a karaoke fan like I am. Good Lord, your dream has come true. Listen to this. They got Dean Martin. I mean, it's just there for everybody. Okay, so we crank it up. And you even have a little bit of Christmas music in there to sing along to. It's a marshmallow world in the winter when the snow comes to cover the ground. It's the time to play. It's a whipped cream day. I wait for it the whole year round. Those are marshmallow clouds being friendly in the arms of the evergreen trees. And the sun is red like a pumpkin head. It's shining so your nose won't freeze. Oh, the world is your snowball. See how it grows. That's how it goes. Whenever it snows, the world is your snowball just for a song. All right, I'm sorry that, it's the first time I used it, so, I'm a little rough on it, but that's the idea right there. In-car karaoke. How the hell do you beat that? I mean, is that not the best accessory you could think of? Listen, I know that people invented airbags, and people invented seatbelts, and people invented all sorts of different safety items. But if you got to take a long trip, if you have to wait for people sometimes, if you have your friends in the car and you got to drive along and you're driving people here and there, you got the kids in the car. I mean, think of how Chevy Chase, think of how his kids would have been engaged so much more in Christmas Vacation if they had been singing Christmas carols to an in-dash karaoke. Come on. I mean, are you with me here or what? This is, listen, gasoline was a good invention for cars. Rubber tires with it, inflated tires, great invention. Automatic transmission, brakes, disc brakes, all great inventions. But in my book, what compares? What compares to this in-car karaoke? It is available on the Ford Mustang E GT. Why are we fighting with each other, folks, when we have stuff like this available to us? It makes no sense. All right. That's going to do it for Drive Time this week. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride on the show. I always appreciate it. And if the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise, we'll see you next Saturday morning, straight up at 11 o'clock. As I say, we always appreciate you listening to the show. Tell your friends about it. Go on YouTube and find us, Drive Time Radio with New York Vinnie. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers. If you like the show, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the show on YouTube. We can use all the help we get. By the way, before we go, I do want to give you my Super Bowl prediction that the Seahawks will win this Super Bowl 31-23. Sam Darnold will be the MVP. No, actually, Mikey said Sam Darnold. Jackson Smith-Njigba will be the MVP. Sorry, Jackson, I screw up your name all the time, but I appreciate what you do. But that will do it for us. And, I always worried if I would live to see the greatest invention in automobiles. And I now, on this particular date, February 7th, can declare to you that I have seen the greatest automotive invention of all time. And it is in-car karaoke. Peace, love, Manischewitz, and go Seahawks. See you next week, folks. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye now.